I'm recording this video because this is a point that I wanted to return to, and it is a point that I had made before, and it is a point that I think is important to make, in my humble estimation, but because my entire YouTube channel that I used to have got firebombed, got nuked, and it is no longer in existence. This is a point that is no longer be found being made by me, and I think it's a pretty darn good point. So I'm going to repeat it here. And Bunny Juno in the comment section yesterday reminded me of this this very thing, and sort of queued me up to repeat the iteration of this point. So yesterday I recorded myself walking around beautiful Lake Geneva with all the gorgeous homes, and you know, it's a storied history of wealth and privilege and influence. The kind of people, the pedigree, let us say, of the people who own those houses, and the roles that they play in our culture and society. So that was getting stuck in my mind yesterday because, you know, having been, let us say, initiated, that's the word that Bunny Juno used, and I'll use it here as well. Having been initiated into what's really going on, you know, seeing through the bullshit, the way that some would characterize it, concerning the kinds of activities that maybe are even endemic amongst the powerful. It calls to mind. Well, I made the point yesterday that it makes one feel compliant in a way. When I read about the Franklin scandal, it was horrifying to think that these kind of things go on unchecked, and that they're basically just written off or covered up for by those on the highest echelons of power. I didn't want to believe it at all. I've made this point many times before. I don't want to repeat myself or be tedious about this, but I did. It does strangely make one feel compliant in all of the awfulness and sordidness and brutality, even if one has done absolutely nothing to you know, to contribute to it at all. And I think the reason for this is, I think one senses that one is complicit. What do I mean by that? Well, I think that with stories like the Franklin scandal, or even you know, the official story of 9/11, or Flandy Fluke, or whatever else, where whatever else you can think of, where you know, the official version of events, the published, approved version of events simply does not add up. You don't even have to look at it that closely to see that it doesn't add up. There's all kinds of things that are ajar, that are askew, that don't fit together. And I offered my opinion on that, on why that is so, when, you know, you would think that the kind of people who pull off these kinds of things, considering the kind of resources that they have at their disposal, you'd think they'd be able to pull them off without a hitch. You'd think that they'd be able to dot every I and cross every T and make sure that nothing looks unusual. So why do so many things obviously, grossly stand out and scream to anyone paying the slightest bit of attention that this is not what they're telling you happened? is not the true is not the truth about these events. So why is that so? Why do they not do a better job of covering for themselves? And my point, the point that I've made before, is I think that they have to do this. I think that there's something, I believe, in the nature of things. You know, call it, I mean, I would ascribe it to God, but I'm not proselytizing my perspective on anybody else. Just say that it's something having to do with the nature of things, natural law. If you're going to violate natural law so hideously, you know, even if you've got the amount of power that these kinds of people have, if they are people, I'm using the word people, you know, with an open mind to whether even if their DNA is human. I mean, that's another road I don't necessarily want to go down right now. That whole consideration. But let's just, for argument's sake, call them people, okay? And I think they are people. I think they have the same DNA as the rest of us, even if something about them is terribly different. And I mean terribly. When I say terribly, I mean terribly. So what I think is the case, and again, you know, take this into consideration. Don't just take it as gospel, but it's my hunch. They have to make it clear that what they're doing is a scam, is a hoax, is they're perpetrating some kind of sleight of hand. They have to make this clear, because if they make it clear, then people should know better. People who aren't a part of their claque, who aren't participating in these events, should be able to see through it, right? You just look at it and it all falls apart before your eyes when you look at it, right? And therefore, you know that they're lying. You know that they are fraudulent. And you know that the version of events that they are trying to perpetrate, that they are trying to get the world to believe, or get the world, you know, sort of hypnotize the world into believing. You know that that's not, that they are lying to us about those things. 19 hijackers, 19 Arab hijackers, let us just say, you know, that just using that as a metaphor for everything else. Okay. Look at things a little more closely, and you know damn well it's not 19 Arab hijackers with box cutters. And again, speaking metaphorically, it ain't 19 Arab hijackers with box cutters who are behind, you know, metaphorically speaking, who are behind anything else that's going on, anything else that's being perpetrated right now, including things like the Franklin scandal, etc., and so on. So they make us complicit by in this manner, by getting us to go along with something that is obviously not what they tell us it is. Okay. They in so doing, they render us complicit, you know, because we go along with it, we believe it, we accept it, we comply with it, we you know, give them you know, whether it's in some explicit or implicit way, we give them our consent to go on ruling the world. And what I believe must be done, the question that was put to me yesterday by this by Bunny Juno in the comments section was, what can we do? We're complicit, but that doesn't mean we should, take part in events that would discredit us, or would make us, would make it easy for them to paint us as violent terrorists or something like that. And my answer is, I believe that we have to each find a way to, in our own way, to indicate our lack of complicity in what's being perpetrated. And I don't think that means that you have to do anything illegal. I definitely don't think it means that. Especially not if you are someone who is married and has children, or I don't know, is in some kind of situation where other people need you to be around. You're not expendable in the sense that, you taking part in some kind of planned uprising would leave a hole or a void in the lives of other people who are dependent upon you, reliant upon you, and so forth. So what do? I believe you have to indicate your lack of compliance in one way or another. And how you do that, how you work that out, is up to you, is between you and, I would say, God, but you can just say the universe or whatever else. You could substitute something else in for God. I don't care what word or concept you use there. You have to find some way to indicate your absence of compliance in who they are, in what they are doing, in what they are attempting to perpetrate. So that's what I try to do, in a small way through this channel. That's what I try to do in a way that I would consider to be much more important through my writing. But that's just me, okay? How you do it is up to you, and there's no one way to do it. But since they forced this complicity upon us in a way, we all have to indicate our lack of compliance. Now, of course, it's obvious that, again, putting your life at risk or putting others' life at risk is probably not the prudent thing for a lot of people, for most people. But you still have to find a way to do it. And how you do it, again, is between you and the true ruler of the universe, the legitimate, just ruler of the universe, not the satanic clack that arrogates to themselves the role of ruling our world. So just some thoughts. Let me know what you think.